The comfort trap. How easy living makes you weak. Stoicism. Most people think suffering is what breaks a person. The Stoics saw something more dangerous. Comfort. Not comfort in its proper place, but the kind that quietly becomes a master. The kind that teaches the mind to avoid effort, trains the body to fear discomfort, and convinces a person that peace means never having to struggle. That is the comfort trap. It does not destroy life in one dramatic moment. It weakens life slowly through small permissions, small indulgences, and repeated escapes from discomfort. The person still appears functional. He still talks about goals, discipline, and growth. But under the surface, he becomes easier to distract, easier to discourage, easier to control, and less capable of carrying real weight. Stoicism is a rebellion against that softness. It teaches that a person should not be built around ease, but around readiness. Readiness for effort, boredom, delay, hardship, and truth. In this video, we will uncover why comfort becomes addictive, what it secretly steals, why the modern world is built to keep you soft, and how Stoic wisdom can help you reclaim discipline, strength, and self-command. Because comfort is not always kindness. Sometimes it is the beginning of decay. Chapter 1. Comfort trains weakness. Comfort is never just a feeling. It is a teacher. Every time you choose the easier path over the necessary one, something inside you learns a lesson. Every time you avoid effort, delay responsibility, obey appetite, or escape discomfort, your mind is being trained. That training eventually becomes your nature. This is what makes comfort dangerous. It does not look destructive in the moment. It looks harmless, deserved, even wise. A little more rest, a little more scrolling, a little more indulgence, a little more delay. None of it seems serious by itself. But when these choices become a pattern, they reshape the person. Relief now becomes weakness later. Ease now becomes fragility later. The modern person often mistakes this for normal life. He feels irritated by small inconvenience, restless in silence, unable to focus without stimulation, and strangely overwhelmed by tasks that should not be overwhelming. He thinks the problem is stress, bad luck, low motivation, or lack of inspiration. But often, the deeper problem is simpler. He has been trained by comfort. A soft mind cannot tolerate boredom. A soft body cannot tolerate strain. A soft spirit starts treating inconvenience like an emergency. This is not because human beings are naturally weak. It is because repeated comfort lowers the threshold of what they can bear. When ease becomes the standard, ordinary effort begins to feel oppressive. When relief becomes a need, discipline begins to feel like punishment. The Stoics understood that strength is not built only by doing hard things. It is also destroyed by constantly avoiding them. That is why weakness is often subtle. Weakness is not always dramatic collapse. It is dependence on good conditions. It is needing entertainment in every empty moment. It is needing life to feel pleasant before doing what is right. It is becoming emotionally unsettled every time friction appears. That is not freedom. That is dependence. The person who can only function when conditions are ideal is not strong. He is trained. He is trained to need comfort, trained to obey mood, trained to shrink from difficulty. And life does not care about those preferences. Life brings delay, frustration, boredom, effort, pain, uncertainty, and responsibility, whether you are prepared or not. So the real question is not whether discomfort will come. The real question is whether you are becoming the kind of person who can bear it. Most people are not asking that. They are asking how to make everything easier. But that question, asked often enough, becomes dangerous. It trains the soul to measure every decision by softness instead of by truth, strength, or necessity. There is a difference between recovery and indulgence. Recovery restores strength. Indulgence avoids strain. Recovery prepares you to return to duty. Indulgence trains you to need more comfort tomorrow than you needed today. That difference matters. Not every soothing thing is healing. Not every easy thing is kind. Sometimes the very thing that feels best in the moment is quietly making you weaker. That is why the right question is not, "Does this feel good?" The right question is, "What is this choice turning me into?" Comfort hates that question because comfort only wants to be judged in the moment. But a life is not built in the moment alone. It is built by repeated consequences. Scroll often enough and attention weakens. Delay often enough and courage weakens. Indulge often enough and discipline weakens. Avoid often enough and self-respect weakens. This is how comfort slowly enters the architecture of a life, through small permissions. A little more delay, a little more ease, a little more escape, a little less resistance. Soon the person feels that something is wrong but cannot name it. Why does everything feel harder? Why is focus weaker? Why do small duties feel heavy? Why does relief keep winning over growth? The answer is painful but clear. Comfort has not merely surrounded him, it has trained him. The first step out of the trap is to see that clearly. Comfort has a place, but when comfort becomes a lifestyle, resilience fades. When comfort becomes a need, discipline starves. When comfort becomes the measure of every decision, weakness grows in silence. That is why the first rebellion of a disciplined life is not against pain, but against unnecessary ease. Chapter 2. Why the mind becomes addicted to ease. Comfort becomes addictive because it offers immediate relief, and immediate relief is one of the most persuasive rewards in human life. A difficult task appears, and you avoid it. An uncomfortable feeling appears, and you distract yourself. A boring moment arrives, and you reach for stimulation. A demanding responsibility appears, and you find something easier first. Each time, the mind feels relief, and the mind learns quickly. It learns that discomfort should be escaped. It learns that boredom should be numbed. It learns that effort should be delayed. It learns that mood should rule action. This is how weakness becomes conditioned. Not through one dramatic failure, but through a repeated pattern of discomfort followed by escape. This matters because once the mind learns to flee discomfort automatically, it stops developing the ability to remain present with difficulty. And when that ability weakens, everything meaningful becomes harder. Deep work, patience, emotional control, consistency, honesty, self-command. The problem is no longer just physical comfort. The problem becomes psychological. The comfort-trained mind starts exaggerating difficulty. A simple responsibility feels oppressive. A brief wait feels unbearable. Silence feels empty. Effort feels like danger. This is one of the great hidden costs of modern life. So many systems now exist to remove friction, shorten waiting, and deliver instant satisfaction that the mind begins to lose respect for delay altogether. Food, entertainment, validation, distraction, shopping, stimulation, all within reach. When everything becomes immediate, the soul becomes impatient. But the best things in life obey a different rhythm. Strength requires repetition. Wisdom requires patience. Trust requires consistency. Mastery requires boredom. Character requires effort without immediate reward. A mind addicted to ease hates that rhythm. It wants results without waiting, growth without strain, relief without sacrifice. That is why such a mind becomes unstable. It is constantly disappointed by reality. Reality takes time. Reality resists. Reality does not care how badly you want comfort. So the comfort-trained person suffers, often not because life is unusually cruel, but because he is unusually unprepared. A weak relationship with discomfort creates unnecessary suffering. This is why comfort is not the same as peace. Comfort is external. Peace is internal. Comfort depends on circumstances. Peace depends on self-command. Comfort disappears when conditions change. Peace can remain even when conditions become difficult. The Stoics aimed for peace, not comfort, because peace belongs to the person who can endure, not the person who is always being soothed. The crucial question is this: can you let discomfort exist without instantly trying to erase it? Can you sit with boredom, effort, waiting, silence, frustration, and unfinished reward without immediately fleeing? That is where discipline begins. Not in grand declarations, but in the small decision not to escape. When you stop fleeing, the mind learns a new lesson. It learns that discomfort is survivable, that boredom does not kill, that the urge does not own you, that effort is not an attack, that emotion can be felt without being obeyed. Those lessons rebuild strength, because strength is not just what you can do when things feel good. Strength is what remains available when they do not. This is why the person who retrains the mind becomes freer. He stops being ruled by mood. He stops being dependent on perfect conditions. He stops interpreting every discomfort as an emergency. He becomes harder to manipulate because he does not need immediate relief in order to remain steady. The Stoics knew long before modern psychology named it that a person becomes what he repeatedly practices. Practice escape, and you become easier to break. Practice endurance, and you become harder to rule. The comfort trap survives because people never challenge the pattern. Discomfort appears, escape follows, relief arrives, and weakness deepens. Break that cycle, and another kind of life becomes possible. Chapter 3: The Hidden Price of Easy Living. The most dangerous thing about easy living is that it hides the bill. If every indulgent choice announced its real cost at the beginning, fewer people would surrender to it. If every act of avoidance said, "This will lower your self-respect tomorrow," if every shortcut said, "This will make discipline harder next week," people would hesitate. But the price is delayed. That is why easy living is so deceptive. It gives pleasure now and weakness later. Relief now and regret later. Escape now and emptiness later. That delay allows the trap to work quietly. A person can feel normal on the outside while his inner edge is disappearing. He can still talk about goals, discipline, growth, and purpose while becoming less able to bear the weight required to actually build them. This is the hidden tragedy. Much of the pain of weak living is not loud failure. It is the quieter pain of knowing you are capable of more while repeatedly choosing less. That inner disappointment matters because something inside always knows when it is being underused softened, and trained into dependence. Easy living steals more than productivity. It steals identity. It lowers trust in yourself. Every time you choose comfort over what you know is necessary, you teach yourself something. You teach yourself that you do not stay with difficulty, that you negotiate with weakness, that your word to yourself is fragile. Do that often enough, and self-respect begins to rot. Once self-respect weakens, motivation weakens with it. It becomes harder to believe your own commitments because your own history has taught you not to trust them. Easy living also steals courage. Courage requires contact with discomfort. It requires being willing to feel uncertainty, fear, resistance, and emotional strain without collapsing into avoidance. But if your life is built around minimizing discomfort at all costs, courage becomes harder to access. Hard conversations are delayed. Necessary risks are postponed. Boundaries are softened. Meaningful action is replaced with waiting for a better mood. That waiting steals years. People think they will act later when they feel stronger, clearer, more ready. But readiness is built through contact with challenge, not through endless protection from it. This is why comfort steals time. Not only by wasting hours directly, but by weakening the kind of person who would have used those hours well. It also steals gratitude. The more a person is overindulged, the harder it becomes for ordinary life to satisfy him. Simplicity feels dull. Silence feels empty. Basic blessings feel small. The threshold for satisfaction rises while the capacity for appreciation falls. That is one of the cruelest ironies of comfort. It promises pleasure, but often makes the soul harder to satisfy. The Stoics saw the opposite path. Restraint sharpens gratitude. Voluntary hardship deepens appreciation. The person who can do without sees more clearly what matters. He is not numbed by endless convenience. He can still find richness in simple things and still remain steady when ease disappears. That is priceless, because life does not remain easy. There will be effort, loss, fatigue, conflict, humiliation, boredom, and responsibility without shortcuts. When that moment comes, the person built by comfort feels shocked by normal hardship. He bargains with reality. He feels offended by difficulty. He interprets friction as proof that something is wrong, when in truth, life is simply being life. This is why comfort must be taken seriously. It is not about rejecting all pleasure or becoming extreme. It is about seeing clearly what easy living costs: focus, courage, depth, self-respect, endurance, gratitude, time, and strength. That is too high a price. Once you see that clearly, something changes. You stop admiring what weakens you, and that is the turning point. Chapter 4. The Stoic Rebellion Against Comfort. The Stoics responded to comfort with a rebellion. Not a childish rebellion against pleasure itself, but a serious rebellion against the rule of comfort. They understood that comfort is useful, but a terrible master. So they did not organize life around ease. They organized it around readiness. Readiness for effort, loss, uncertainty, boredom, pain, and duty. Most people today want life to become more comfortable. The Stoic wants to become stronger. That is the decisive difference. Once your goal becomes strength instead of ease, your relationship with discomfort changes. Discomfort stops being only an enemy. Sometimes it becomes training. Sometimes it becomes proof that the weaker part of you is finally being denied authority. This is why Stoicism opposes the modern script that says, protect your comfort at all costs, follow your feelings, avoid strain, and choose whatever soothes you fastest. The Stoic refuses that script. He knows that a person shaped by comfort becomes fragile, while a person shaped by disciplined resistance becomes difficult to break. That is why the Stoics practiced voluntary hardship. Not because pain is automatically noble, not because misery is the goal, but because chosen discomfort builds inner authority. When you willingly do what is hard, you prove that comfort is not in charge, that appetite is not the ruler, that your body can protest without becoming the master of the day. This is one of the deepest forms of confidence. Not the belief that life will be easy, but the knowledge that you can meet difficulty without collapse. That is what Stoicism builds. A life not dependent on perfect conditions. So the Stoic trains privately. He wakes when he should. He works when he does not feel like it. He stays silent when ego wants release. He eats with restraint. He resists distraction. He practices enduring a little boredom, a little hunger, a little discomfort, so that he does not become the kind of person who panics whenever life is not soft. This is not performance. It is not showing the world how tough you are. It is private mastery. Doing the hard thing when nobody sees it. Refusing indulgence even when indulgence would be invisible to everyone else. That is where real hardness is forged. And this hardness is not cruelty. It is becoming less ruled by appetite, less ruled by mood, less ruled by comfort, less ruled by fear. That creates a different kind of peace. Not the peace of a padded life, but the peace of knowing you can endure. That is the gift of the Stoic rebellion. It returns dignity. Dignity in not panicking when life becomes inconvenient. Dignity in carrying weight without drama. Dignity in refusing the easy lie for the sake of the harder truth. Once a person tastes that dignity, old comforts begin to lose their charm. Not because pleasure disappears, but because slavery becomes easier to recognize. The question then becomes, where have I become too comfortable to remain strong? In mornings, in speech, in attention, in food, in silence, in emotional escape? Wherever the answer is, that is where training begins. Not with self-hatred, with deliberate resistance. A little more effort, a little less indulgence, a little more silence, a little less escape. That is how the self is rebuilt. Closing, the comfort trap does not announce itself as danger. It arrives as relief, convenience, softness, and harmless pleasure. That is why so many people let it shape them without resistance. They think they are protecting peace, when often they are weakening the very qualities that could create real peace later. The Stoics saw the danger clearly. A life arranged around ease produces dependence, and dependence is the enemy of freedom. The person who needs comfort all the time becomes easy to shake, easy to distract, easy to discourage, easy to control. That is not the life of self-mastery. The goal is not to hate pleasure, reject all rest, or turn life into punishment. The goal is higher than that. It is to become the kind of person who can enjoy comfort without becoming weak because of it, who can rest without drifting, who can suffer a little without collapsing, who can remain under command when conditions are hard. That is self-mastery, not a performance, not a mood, a way of standing in life. So the next time comfort calls your name, do not ask only what feels easier. Ask what this choice is turning you into. That question can save a life, Because in the end, comfort is not the standard. Character is. Readiness is. Self-command is. If this struck something real in you, do not let it remain another passing moment. Share it with someone fighting the same war. Leave a comment with the comfort you know you need to stop feeding. And if this is the path you want to keep walking, stay with this channel. The world will keep offering softness. Your task is different. Your task is to become harder to weaken. Stay sharp. Stay honest. Stay under command. And above all, stay stoic.